4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, hello all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming at us from the world. I'm broadcasting here actually from Singapore, the ADEX Dive Show, and we're here on Community Day, another exciting yearly event. Very happy to see people starting to come in. First visitor from the Netherlands, greetings. Nice to have you on the broadcast. And we're going to have some fun today. We're going to be seeing a wide range of our friends and associates all around the world doing some great things. Before we start that, I want to talk a little bit about Community Day, but I want to start by talking about our great community here in Singapore. Our group down here, say hi, everybody. Hey! All right, we got a great group, a big old GUE group down there saying hi from around the world. Here in Singapore, just around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're excited to be broadcasting for here, and thanks to all of you for joining Community Day. We're going to be reaching out to communities around the world. Many more than the Singapore community where I am, and we're going to be also highlighting a number of projects around the world and many of the groups and people that come together to make them a success. You know, as many as you are aware, projects are really key to our mission at GUE. So we're going to spend some time today digging into a few of those aspects, digging a little deeper into what makes a project and how GUE is different from other projects. Hopefully this is going to give you a sense of the training path needed to really embark upon many of these exciting projects, as well as the meaningful efforts that result from them as well. Just so everyone's aware, we have 2 live streams today. We're doing this one now, obviously, and then we have another one later. It'll be midnight for me, so I don't know if I'll be as peppy, but I'll do my best. If you can't make both live streams, they are going to be recorded. But hopefully you will make an effort to make both live streams and join us throughout. If they do fall outside your time zones, either one of them, we can check out the recordings on Facebook and YouTube. Please be sure to drop your questions in as well. So we may not grab all of them as we go. In fact, I probably will leave most of them to the end. If there are a few relevant to the topic, we might try to entertain them, but many of the questions we're going to leave for the end. We'll have Gerard Attorney coming on, joining me at the end of the broadcast, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions. Love to see if you can come up with some to trip me up, try to come up with something that I don't know so I can pass it off to Gerard and have her answer it. I want to be sure to thank everybody, all of our speakers and participants for these activities, and of course you, the viewer, really a critical component to the activity, and we cannot forget the tremendous team that put everything together. Megan and Davina, thanks so much for your hard work. You were amazing putting together everything and making it mesh. We thanks also to Chris for your support, and of course our production team of Nico making everything work behind the scenes, or at least I hope so. We're going to find out and see how he does. A quick little chat around. We saw our GUE crew, and we'll just take a little quick look. This is the ADEX show. This is the largest show in Asia. It's had a bit of a struggle, of course, like many places around the world, but now is reverberating, coming back again, meeting a lot of great people here. Excited to be here again. I've been in Singapore for a while, so we're happy to be back. And hopefully we're going to get to see many of you at different projects and conferences and activities around the world. Okay, we're going to bring in Malin in a moment here. Malin, lovely person. Great and active instructor. She's one of our instructor trainers based in Spain. She's discovered a lot of pretty interesting new cave passages and amazing formations along the way. She has a background in communications engineer, the rocket science world of proper communications. Really a really special person, an amazing diver, and doing a lot of great stuff over in Spain. She really brings a pretty unique perspective to both exploration and research activity. And she always shames me because she's quite a little person, but carries gear better than me. So I usually try to get her to carry it for me. I'd love to bring in Malin if she's out there.
Hello, good morning,
Hi, there you
Gerald. Good
go.
afternoon.
So lovely to see you. Thanks for coming in and making the time.
Nice to see you too.
And you've been
Can you hear me?
exercising because I'm getting a little tired these days, so I might need you to carry more of my equipment.
We always need to train.
Okay, exactly. Always, always. You have a beautiful picture behind you. This is in the Azores, where I believe you're broadcasting from, right?
Yes, I'm broadcasting from the Azores. It's actually quite early in the morning, and I couldn't stop the greens here.
It's okay. If
Um,
you get nervous, just fade back into the picture and nobody will notice. It'll be fine.
yes.
Okay, but then what are you going to talk to us about today?
So I'm gonna talk about exploration and project diving in Spain. But since this is our community day, I'm gonna focus in on how the communities gets these explorations happen actually, because this is not one person effort. It's a team effort, and this is what all also GUE is about, to get this team of underwater projects.
Great. So many people are a little shy about getting into some of these activities. So hopefully you'll be able to highlight for us some of the great ways that the GUE community can really get active in these areas. And I'll step aside and shut up and let you take the stage.
Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this great broadcast. We will hope that you can get a better background of what GUE communities are about, and how to get involved in projects and in explorations. As Jared said, this is not for the super great diver that has already done all the courses and everything. It's like everybody can help, and everybody can do something and can contribute to these explorations. And actually, we are in some of the explorations we are involved. We need all profiles. Even if you are a non-diver, you can be involved as well, because from data processing to managing tanks, managing teams, this is like a huge effort. So I'm happy to give you some brief of the explorations happening in Spain, and I really hope you like them. So first of all, as I said, the caves sometimes are very easy to access, sometimes are not. And sometimes we have to travel through mountains and through some fields, go to dry caves, go to many places. And we need a lot of contributions here, a lot of help that is always welcome. Here, for example, I'm showing one of the explorations, the first stages of an exploration we did in a cave in Spain in the middle of the mountains. So as you can see, we have to take a lot of stuff. We have to go underground. We have to walk around. So actually, the exploration in these caves start with dry caves. So that's one of the tools that we are using, that we need for going to these caves. Is dry caving. It's quite important. It can seem very hard, but it's not. It can be for everybody. As Jared said, I'm quite small in size, so everybody can be involved. We have to do lots of stuff on these explorations. It's not only the diver who goes beyond and to the last to install line and do this stuff. Here is another cave. This is in the south of Spain. And for example, in this one, we can only go in when the river that you can see in the top picture, it's dry. So it's also seasonal. It's not easy and let's just go diving and go in the cave. We need to plan this in advance. The one below, most of you or a lot of you may know it as well, is Cueva del Agua in Spain. It's a project that some of the GUE divers in Spain are involved. And it's a great, maybe you have heard about it, it's a great cave because it's thermal water, it's 29 degrees. And we always need help to explore this cave because it's actually quite long. And for example, we need to carry tanks, we need to do some survey, we need to do sketches for the survey, we need to do photos, we need to do videos. So all these materials that we are getting, then we have to process them, we have to put them in a ordered way. So actually we need all this help. This is a photo from another cave in the south of Spain. This is Cueva del Morage. Actually, we are starting a new campaign next week. And as you can see, this is a lot of work and a lot of materials as well. I wanted to explain you one thing, because some people can think that cave exploration, it's only diving, installing line, and that's it, but it's not. In the top picture, for example, you can see some kind of strange devices. The one in the down corner in the top photo is a Doppler measurement. What do we do with this Doppler? We measure the current and the particles inside the cave. So, for example, on this one, it's very important for us to see how is the salt water related with the fresh water inside the cave, because it will give us a lot of information. This shiny orange device as well, it's a device to measure the salinity of the water, as well the conductivity and the chlorophyll, the temperature, measure a lot of parameters. What will give us, what information will give us? It will tell us the quality of the water and which type of water is coming from each passage. So I am engineer, I'm not a scientist. So in the team, for example, we need scientists to be able to identify this type of changes and identify this type of water. So as you can see, there are many things to do. In the down photo, I'm doing a survey of this cave, because survey is as well really important. Then we can correlate it with the geology on top of the mountain, let's say, in the surface, so we can more or less see where the cave goes. And sometimes you can find new entrances on land, and there is not only the sea entrances, and that's quite important for us. We also do some research. This is a collaboration with Elena Romano from Italy. She did some research in Cueva del Agua and in City 12 in Spain, and she also found a lot of biology indicators for environmental that are very important environmentally. So it's also the scientist part that is involved. Some of the other projects that we have in Spain as well is not only the caves, it's also open water, and we are here. We are studying some Gorgonian trees that only grow in an area in Spain, and we are still investigating why they only grow here. Actually, this project is super nice. I wanted to show here a photo of part of the team, because on the first edition of that project, we actually created a really good team. A lot of people met. There were people who was diving from single tank up to JJ units, because we had depths from many ranges. Actually, this project runs from 6 meters up to 60 meters depth. So it's quite important that we have all types of divers. So even if you are a wreckbound diver, single tank, I welcome you to join these projects and contact your local instructors, because you can be of really great help. And that's it from my side. Thank you, all of you, for listening to this presentation, and get in touch with us or ask any questions that you want. And yeah, we are looking forward to seeing you in projects.
Beautiful. Thanks very much, Belen. That's a really great set of projects, and not only bringing together a wide range of community members from recreational all the way into technically sophisticated dives, but bringing some great and incredibly scientifically relevant information. So that's amazing. And I think you're almost a scientist, I would say. You're a pretend scientist. You play one on YouTube. Well, thanks very much, Belen. That's great. It was awesome to see everything that you're doing there, and look forward to seeing you in person very soon. Okay, thanks, everybody. It's great to see all of you coming in from all over the world, from Dubai, from Italy, from, where did I see? I saw from Netherlands, Russia, all kinds of good stuff coming in today. So welcome to all of you. If you joined the broadcast slightly late, this strange industrial looking background is actually ADEX. I'm in Singapore right now for the ADEX dive show. And we had a big group of our GUE people below. But just again, briefly for the show here, pretty good. We've got a pretty good attendance, especially given that things have been a little bit challenging here from a pandemic perspective. But things are quite open now, and they seem to be really rolling nice and efficiently. So I want to go ahead and bring on our next speaker. Lauren is coming to us from Florida. She's an active GUE instructor and active project diver there. She's doing a lot of diving within the GUE organization as well as the Woodville Karst Plane project in Florida. Super active and working on rebreather dives and all sorts of activity around the world. Let's bring in Lauren and hear what she has.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren. I'm a GUE instructor residing in High Springs, Florida. As mentioned before, the roots of GUE formed through project diving with a long-term vision of creating a global network of capable divers who can participate in scientifically credible projects around the world. Now, when we talk about projects or project diving, it's worth noting the intricacies of this topic to gain a better understanding of what type of diving we're heavily focused on as an organization. So what actually makes a project? This is a question that can result in a very long-winded answer, but in the most concise way, a project is ultimately a group of individuals who share a common goal and collectively work together to achieve that goal, which results in a measurable outcome or deliverable. As an organization, our focus in project diving resides in these outcomes or deliverables, scientifically enhancing our understanding of the underwater world. Now, in order to achieve this, and what makes a project possible includes, but it's certainly not limited to, the following items: a team, a goal, logistics, and deliverables. So going into some of the details of the following, starting with a team. A project generally requires a group of people working together to achieve a desired outcome that cannot be completed by an individual alone. Some of the inherent results of bringing people together is the human side of things surfacing from individual characters and behaviors that all have strengths and weaknesses, or good days and bad days, if you will. If there's one thing I can say, it does not matter how many C cards you have or what your experience is on paper if you don't have a good attitude. Attitude, good energy, willingness to help on all aspects of a project, from being the hero at the end of the line to surface manager or working in a support function, all make a huge difference in one's ability to participate in a project, not only short-term, but long-term as well. A resourceful mentality or approach can also make a big difference as a team member on a project. Being resourceful means having the ability to find quick and efficient ways to overcome difficulties without letting it phase you or bring the team down. So when it comes to the team component in creating a project, remember, good energy, a good attitude, and being resourceful increases the chance of success. All right, moving on to the next topic that makes a project is a goal. So a project goal can be as simple as documenting a new cave or wreck, to doing coral restoration work, building conservation initiatives, doing debris cleanups, and everything in between. It's worth noting, project diving is synonymous with goal-oriented diving, so it's important to be cautious and conservative to avoid doing dives outside of your capacity or your comfort zone with additional peer pressure or task loading that's involved with this type of diving. The goal of the project will inherently determine the complexity of the logistics required to achieve the desired outcomes, which brings us to our next topic, logistics. Some of the logistics required on projects include detailed liability and risk management plans, remote planning considerations, access requirements such as permits, travel documentation, etc. for the given location, emergency evacuation plans, in-water recompression techniques that are not only understood, but also deployable by the team, support needed to achieve the desired goal, the actual needs of support while in and out of the water, gas filling logistics at the end of the day, a suitable charging station, capacity to download large amounts of data and back it up, food, shelter, equipment redundancies, and the ability to do field repairs in the event something fails, vehicle access requirements if applicable, and the list goes on. Detailed logistics management can make or break the ability to execute a project with ease. And our last topic, deliverables. A project deliverable is the tangible or intangible output resulting from the collective efforts of the team. GUE's mission in project diving is to produce deliverables focused on scientifically enhancing our understanding of the underwater world. GUE offers a wide variety of programs that can aid in molding you to become a better project contributor. And we're also developing a new project diver curriculum that is focused on providing participants experience in overcoming complex logistics while capturing data in potentially remote or challenging environments. This program not only enhances the capacity of those already participating in projects, but it also expands on the number of community members capable of organizing and joining projects of their own. So that wraps up some of the things that can make a project, with additional information on ways to become a more well-rounded project diver. Thank you all for joining our community event. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to share a little information about what makes a diving project, and I hope you all have a great community day ahead.
Thanks so much, Lauren. Great to hear from her. And she knows quite a lot about, obviously, what it takes to run a project as an ardent project diver herself, and also a pivotal part of our new project diver curriculum. Many of you have probably heard us talking about. We started with the first beta version of that program in Dubai earlier this year, and we'll be continuing in Florida. We already have a full group signed on for the week before the GUE conference in October. So we're looking forward to fleshing out that curriculum and really getting it out into our communities as a way to enable a lot of these kinds of projects that we're seeing here over the community day, and as well as the kind of broader view that Lauren's talking about. And speaking of projects, it's exciting for me now to bring in Graham Blackmore, who was with us actually during the Project Diver development, one of the architects of the program. He's also our technical administrator, teaches exclusively for GUE at the technical and rebreather level as an instructor, trainer, and evaluator, and as a technical explorer, which makes him really perfect for those roles. We're very excited to bring in Graham and hear a little bit about his project, Malin Head. Graham, great to see you, mate.
Morning, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well so far. Ask me about the midnight broadcast, but right now it's middle of the afternoon, so things are good. It's a bit early for you there in UK. Are you
7:20? Yeah, 7:20 a.m. So not too bad, but happy to be here and happy to see everybody on the comments and things. So yeah, good morning everybody, good afternoon if that's where you are, and I guess for you, Jared, it's nearly good evening, isn't it?
It's afternoon now too, in the afternoon, so come join our second broadcast and it'll be midnight and we can see whether I hold up well.
Good luck with
that. So tell us a little bit about Malin Head, one of the projects that you recently put together.
Yeah, no, it'd be my pleasure. And yeah, I mean, I think when people talk about Malin Head, they think about like open Atlantic conditions. So here's a little bit of rough weather. That was actually a non-diving day, but we talk about diving day. We actually got in with a 5-meter swell, and it's quite funny. You take a picture with a camera, and you really can't tell how big those waves are. But let me tell you, a 5-meter swell is quite something to be reckoned with. Obviously, it's not always huge swells and crazy seas. We get some calm conditions, and here we can see the sunset after a really successful day's diving. So let's think about the diving side of things, since that's what we're all into. We're not sailors, although some of you may be sailors. I think the drawback of diving in the Atlantic or the middle of the Atlantic is really the big seas, but the payoff is really the conditions underwater. And here we can see 3 divers decompressing, and this was taken from a first deco stop on quite a deep dive. So I'm shooting upwards from about 75 or 80 meters at divers a few meters above me, and we can see the clarity of water and the amount of ambient light is actually quite incredible, and it always blows my mind when I get back in the water out there to see the conditions. Just amazing. And of course, what's on the bottom, the geographical location of the northern part of Ireland. It's Ireland proper, not Northern Ireland, but Ireland proper. The Donegal coast was that all the traffic from the Atlantic funnels in to the UK around the top of Ireland, in through Scotland, and then into seaports like Birkenhead and Liverpool in the UK. And because of all that shipping traffic and 2 world wars, there's a huge amount of shipwrecks there to be found on the bottom. What's really interesting is, together with the good visibility, is the bottom composition is actually rocks, not mud. So rocks and sand. So you get really crystal clear visibility all the way to the bottom. And here we can see a couple of divers exploring a huge engine block on the Empire Heritage, and this shot was taken at around 65 meters, so we can see what the ambient conditions are like down there. And that this again is the Empire Heritage. Again, it's like a large scale shot, and I don't know if you can make this out on the resolution of the live stream, but we can see there's a load of Sherman tanks scattered all over the bottom. So when the Empire Heritage was sunk in World War II, it was actually bringing over supplies from America into Europe, and the boat was sunk, and all the tanks it was carrying spilled out all over the bottom. So that's quite something to see there on the bottom. Of course, it being a ship, there are several identifiable features, and this is the prop, or one of the props, of a giant steamliner, the Justicia. And the Justicia is over 200 meters long and in 70 meters of water, and it's really, really fantastic dive if you ever get the opportunity to do that. And then that's the other end of the Justicia. In fact, it's a really beautiful bow, but unfortunately it's deteriorating over the years. So it's been on the bottom for many, many years, and now it's deteriorating. So when I first started going to Malin about 5 years ago, this bow was vertical, and now we can see that it's really leaning over and falling apart. So that was one of the things we really wanted to do as part of this Malin Head project, was to start documenting these wrecks and to start looking at them as they deteriorate, and trying to sort of prevail and show some of the information show some people the conditions, what the wrecks were, and what condition they're ending up in as we go over time. So let's have a look at some of the other wrecks that we did. Of course, I should mention there's a few different reasons to go to Ireland, and there's one very good one. It's not Bobby who's the good reason to go to Ireland, it's the Guinness. And I can promise you it really does taste different there, and it's really worth going just for that, actually, not least the excellent wreck diving. So here, and I think there's some clickable links somewhere in the description. Nico will let you know where those clickable links are. But if you type this link into your browser, the tiny URL, it will bring up a 3D model that we've started producing of the Audacious. In fact, I did want to do an animation of the model that we've started producing for this wreck, but the problem with an animation is it's actually what I would like you to see, not what you can see. And I think one of the benefits of these 3D models is you can explore the wreck as you like. You don't have to be constrained by what I thought you might like to see. So a big shout out here to Joe Tibble. Joe Tibble's got a master's in underwater survey, and he really is a wizard when it comes to photogrammetry. So this here's the stern of the Audacious, and the Audacious is a amazing dreadnought. It's a battleship. It was sunk in World War One, and if I'm right, I think it was the first wreck of World War One sunk by a mine. The story's a little bit interesting because it was sunk by a mine and then it was towed, and it was towed by some quite famous ships like the Olympic, for example. And in bad weather, we showed some bad weather earlier in the slides, it broke free and eventually it actually capsized. And the reason it capsized was because of all the munitions. And we can see here some of the munitions. These are Clarkson shells, and we can see a little diver there, and it actually gives you an idea of the scale of the things. These are, you know, 1.2, 1.5 meters long, and you can imagine the energy contained within them with all the cordite therein to propel these shells like 20, 30 kilometers away from the ship to shoot other big ships. And that is one of the guns. That's actually the barbette from B turret. So there were several of these turrets with these huge guns, and we often see that wreck divers focus on guns in their shots, and that's not a gun. This is a gun, and these are twin 13.5 inches. I've been lucky enough to dive some of the wrecks out of Singapore, like the Prince of Wales and the Repulse. And they're also King George V battleships, and they actually the later generation of the Audacious, and they had 3 or 4 guns on their turrets. But these are twin 13.5 inches, shooting those Clarkson shells that I showed in the previous slide. And there are some project divers actually buzzing around this barbette, and that's what we're trying to do. And the model I showed was what we're trying to do next year will be actually to try and photogrammetry the whole site. So it's like a 200-meter long warship. You can imagine there's quite a lot of logistics involved in that. And this is sort of some artistic shots of the area that if you're looking at the model, you can see, and we can see those rudders sticking up. They look a little bit like mouse or rabbit ears there in the background, and that's Leo Fielding there, just enjoying the dive around this awesome shipwreck. And here we can see 2 project divers. Actually, this is divers working together as a team to start building up this photogrammic model. And we've got a diver above lighting the camera guy, who's taking the photos, which will then be built together into the photogrammic model when you've got a wizard like Joe Tibble building the models up for you. And there we see the rear of this ship, just to give you some idea of what it looks like in situ to put together with the model that I've shown. So a really fantastic wreck. You get some idea of the scale of the wrecks with a tiny little diver there at the back of this picture, next to this huge warship there on the bottom. And then I wanted to, well, here's some pictures of the cordite from the wreck, and the cordite is what's stuffed into the Clarkson shells, which actually propels them forward when it explodes. So there's lots of explodey things there on the bottom we need to be careful of. So another model I wanted to show you was the D6. So actually the D6 is a D-class submarine sunk in World War I, and that is one of the early submarines, and D-class, you can, I mean, I'm not sure if Marcus Rose is here, but he could tell us what class of submarines we're on now. But not many people have dived this wreck. In fact, we were the first team to get on this wreck from Miva Divers, the dive operation we used in Donegal. And within one dive, we're able to build up this photogrammic model of a submarine sunk in 90 meters of water. So we did around 50 minutes of bottom time, Joe Tibble and I, and he's able to take all these photos from one dive and then process it up to form a model of this important submarine from World War I, the D6. And one of the interesting things, and we can tell not a lot of people have dived here, because the conning tower that we can see illuminated here as Joe's taking the pictures to build up the model, The conning tower is actually non-ferrous, so it's copper, I think, or brass, the actual conning tower. So it's actually quite valuable there on the bottom. And that's something that's super exciting as a wreck diver to see these things. And then within one dive at 90 meters, we're able to build this model, which if you guys are interested, you can have a look at through the Sketchfab model. I think one of the interesting things for me of submarines is really that the rudders at the back operate in that plane as opposed to that plane. And we can see here that the rudders are in this vertical position. So when the submarine was hit by the torpedo, they actually try and bring the nose up to the surface. And you can see that evidence as it lies there majestically on the bottom. You can see evidence that the crew tried to point the nose of the sub toward the surface to enable them to escape. So it's really interesting to see these features. And we can see here there's a little fin in front of the rudder, and that kind of makes it as streamlined as possible when it's moving through the water. And this is like quite a nice shot for me. This is what I imagine it looks like on the inside of a Rolex, full of little cogs and inner mechanicians and things like that. And it really was a fantastic dive. So really fantastic stuff. So that's really all I had to say about Malin. I could talk for hours about this, so I hope you've enjoyed the few minutes that I've talked about here.
That's amazing. I can see why you can talk about it for so long. I mean, that's just some fantastic wrecks, really nice oversight, and really can't wait to see some of that myself, Graham. You've been active in that area for a long time. You should invite me one day.
You really must come. You and Dorota. Dorota keeps saying, and I see Demetrius as well there on the chat. So I hope to be able to twist you guys' arm and join at some point, because it really is well worth it.
Between the Guinness and the Rex, I mean, what's not to like? Thanks, Graham. I really appreciate that, and I as well for helping to highlight some of the great rewards that come from rigorous effort and training. I know that we share this, and I want to take the opportunity to point out, really, most of us in the community see training as the tool to enable the really cool dives people do. Training is not an end. Training is a means to the end of doing cool stuff. And I think you couldn't better highlight high skills than that kind of environment where you can see stuff nobody else can see without that level of training.
No, I think that's what you do all those valve drills for, is to get out and do some exploring and personal exploration, but actually like new exploration stuff that people haven't seen. So, of course you must practice, but get out there and really see and enjoy what's out there in the environment, and bring back stuff that the people that can't dive in those environments can see as well. So, that's what we're all about, really.
Indeed. Great stuff, Graham. Thanks to you for that great presentation and for helping to provide so much support to all of our curriculum, our tech, and our Project Diver curriculum, and setting a great example in the community. Great to see you, Greg. Take care. All right, that's some really nice stuff. We want to go ahead and now bring in Duncan. We've got a few community reports that we want from around the world. I think we're bringing Duncan first from Australia. And we're going to see what Duncan. Hey, Duncan, how are you doing? Great to see you.
Hey, Jared. Very, very well. Yourself?
Yeah, doing very well. All these great places I want to travel to. So
yeah, well, you're always welcome.
Love to. It's been a while. You got great caves and great wrecks. What are you going to talk to us about today?
We do. Well, look, it was just to tune in and say hi to all of our communities around the world. We've got a full day today. We had a Tech 1 dive in the morning. We've got a few groups of GUE divers out doing some shore dives this afternoon. No doubt we'll meet back at the dive center for a soft drink or two afterwards. I'm actually at one of the Sydney's lovely outdoor pools here, conducting day 1 of fundamentals course. So 3 girls just finished the swim test, getting changed. Right. So it's all happening.
Good. You're not going to try to peek in there, are you? Behave now.
That's
all right,
well, exactly.
I'm excited to see that. It sounds great. It looks like a beautiful pool. That's an amazing area.
Yeah,
and
lovely
such
pool.
Good internet. I mean, every pool should have that kind of internet.
I know, right? Exactly. And the weather worked out well too. So all good for GUE Community Day 2022 here in Sydney.
All right, perfect. Great, Duncan. Great to see you. Thanks for radioing in. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers, mate. And now I understand we have a couple of videos as well. We're going to bring in a video both from Dubai and from Netherlands. I'm not actually sure. What are we going to...
Hello guys! Hello and hello, big hello from the GUE community, a very diverse community which I will show you by just asking these wonderful people 3 simple questions. 1, what's your name? 2nd, where are you from? And 3rd, what's your favorite local dive site? Here we go!
My name is Mustafa, I'm Egyptian, and my favorite dive site is in Abrek.
Hello, my name is Tito, I come from Spain, and my favorite dive site would be Calpatak.
Hello, my name is Dario, I come from Italy, and my favorite dive site is Energy Determination.
Hello, I'm Umar, I'm from Pakistan, and my favorite dive is the Barok.
Hi, my name is Erickson, I'm from the Philippines. My favorite dive site here in the UAE is Inchcape.
Hi, I'm Charlie, I'm from Philippines. My favorite dive site here in Philippines is Three Rocks.
Hi, my name's Ali, from the UAE, and my favorite dive site is the Anita with strong currents.
My name is Mark, I'm from Belgium, and my favorite dive site here is Ines. As you can see, very diverse, both in diving and in people. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
Bye. All right, great stuff. Good to hear from both of those communities, building a nice growing GUE community there in Dubai. Great to see from Netherlands, and also the beginning of a fundamentals class over in Australia. For those of you joining late, I see quite a lot of people have been signing on. I'm broadcasting actually from the ADEX show in Singapore, and thankful to Singapore high speed. It seems to be going okay. Show's going well so far. Good group showing up here. I'd like to welcome everybody who's joining late and also remind you, go ahead and capture your questions, send them on over to us, and we'll collect them at the end. I have Dorada Cherney joining me at the end, and we're going to do a little Q&A, try to see if you can stump the speakers, and then we'll have some fun together. Okay, our next guest, Ibrahim Hussein, water quality scientist who grew up in South Africa and then located to New Zealand. He's doing some amazing stuff with our Project Baseline group. Really been using his background in aquatic ecotoxicology and zoology to found the Otora Lakes project, and really has been working steadfastly to contribute and preserve the natural beauty of that area. And he's been one of our most consistent contributors to Project Baseline, and we're really happy to bring Ebby on. Ebby, can you join us to tell us about some of the great stuff that you're doing? Hey,
cool.
Cheers.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. As Jared mentioned, I'm Ebby from little country New Zealand. I think rather than talking about what Aotearoa Lakes does, being a community day, I thought this presentation will focus more on how a little GUE community in a tiny country can grow from a single project at a single site to a nationally recognized charity doing work across the country and even reaching out into other bits of the world. So yeah, I think we'll focus on this presentation. Will kind of set the scene and hopefully show you the framework on how we got to this point, and hopefully inspire some of the other groups to reach out and go do more and package your projects and data in a way that's really useful to the wider public and policymakers. So
take it away, Abby.
Cool. So who are we and what we do? So Aotearoa Lakes is a registered national charity, and we are a collection of ecologists, water quality scientists, limnologists, GIS analysts, drone operators, data analysts, environmental planners, and obviously technical divers. And how our whole setup works is all of these people donate their skills and services to the organization, which means we can take on very large ecosystem scale projects with no funding or costs really, because most of the time when you are trying to put these projects together, a lot of the costs go for specialist scientific services. So we can offer professional environmental consulting to communities and indigenous communities who can't afford it, but we can also fill in little research gaps and do proactive research where governments can't normally resource it or afford it. So how did it start? Like pretty much all GUE-inspired environmental projects, we started off as a site-specific project baseline initiative. And at that time, I was the freshwater scientist for the Auckland Council, which is the regulatory body for the area that I live in, which is Auckland. And on the weekends, I used to dive a lot in Lake Pupuki. And if you look closely, you'll actually spot Bellin there in the bottom photo. She was one of the people who helped set this all up in the beginning as well, which was really cool to see her online again. So during my day job, I would do a lot of water quality analysis, and one of the sites was Lake Pupuki. But then on the weekends, we'd be doing a lot of training as the GUE New Zealand group. And we started noticing this decoupling. So there was a whole lot of ecological responses that weren't being mirrored in the water quality trends. And this is when I figured we need to do some survey, and it really highlighted the value of collecting subsurface data. So set up a project. We tacked a whole lot of survey stuff onto our regular GUE training sessions where we'd kind of do skill circuits and that sort of thing, and we'd pop some monitoring on the end. So kind of created diving with a purpose. And the project was super successful, and it set the foundations to expand. So from project to organization. So we started off as that site-specific project, and then we moved on to a nationally registered environmental charity that does projects across New Zealand now. And the first step of moving into that organization type setup was defining a focus. So New Zealand being an island nation, we're surrounded by coastline and marine environments, and this space is fairly saturated. Like there's a lot of people doing amazing work in our marine space, but we overlook our freshwater bodies. And freshwater is an essential commodity, and we don't really need to look very far. If you switch on the news, you'll see all the droughts in Europe and rivers literally drying up. So it really highlights the importance of managing water as a resource, but also how integral it is to all life on Earth. So we really wanted to hone in and kind of bat for fresh water. It also has an element of exploration and discovery, and I think this is something that speaks to a lot of the GUE crowd as well. These lakes, most of them have actually never really been dived in at all. Actually, majority of them, some of them haven't even been visited, let alone dived in, and majority of them have never been dived in. So every time you hop into these water bodies, you kind of exploring and you're seeing something that no one else has really seen. And with those environments comes this range of species. And you can see I've kind of popped a couple of photos up there. But these species are unique and found nowhere else in the world. Some of these species are so rare that they're actually only found in 1 or 2 lakes in New Zealand. So, I mean, to be able to study something that exists in 1 or 2 locations across the whole world, every experience and every documentation is novel to science. So it's quite cool. Also for the challenging conditions, we wanted to focus on impact sites because it's kind of where we could get the most amount of info on impacts and pressures assessments and how we could possibly mitigate that. And I'll hopefully, the videos are not working, which is fine. So those were just a couple of clips of how gnarly some of the conditions are. And actually a few people online would be familiar with the lakes we're commonly in. It's usually 0 visibility, and we're working in 10-degree water, shivering away for several hours at a time. But so moving on, we knew our focus would be freshwater, and the next step was we needed to integrate skills. So technical divers and GUE divers in particular are extremely good at collecting subsurface data, right? So we knew we had that section wrapped up, and we had proven success in this. But collecting subsurface data and just giving it to anyone who would have it isn't the full circle. So we needed to integrate other skills. So this is when we brought in data analysts and ecosystem modelers and drone pilots and all the rest. And this is to try and package up that data that we're collecting, interpret, analyze, and deliver a complete product. So integration of skills was fundamental to our organization. We also wanted to move towards proactive ecosystem scale projects. And Nico hit on this in one of his recent YouTube videos when he was doing one of the in-depth promos. And communities and citizen science in general would tend to find an issue and then be quite reactive to that issue. So they'll see an issue and then they'll document that issue. So essentially you're monitoring decline, which is great for highlighting the issue to the wider public. But to really get those sort of ecosystem scale upliftments and environmental changes, you want to proactively learn from those impact sites and then manage additional non-impact sites to mitigate those pressures, or at least understand these non-impact sites so you can preemptively manage future pressures. So we tend to take a full catchment-wide approach. When we approach a project, we start on the land, which is normally not really how diving works, but we look at overland flow paths, we look at catchment land use breakdowns, contaminant load modeling, underlying geology, and those sort of things. And then we go in lake, and we do everything from continuous water quality to various discrete water quality samples, sediment samples, and a variety of ecological surveys. And combined, this gives us an entire picture of that whole ecosystem, which enables us to assess its values, but also the pressures that are currently being exerted on the system, but also the likely future pressures. And that's really key, so we can now proactively manage and restore environments before they get past the point of return. The next pillar of our organization was obviously collaboration. So we needed skills and we needed the right people to hear the right things and be part of these projects. So we work with government agencies, a whole lot of research institutes, universities, communities, iwi groups, which are the indigenous people of New Zealand. And then we also do a whole lot of educational outreach. So it kind of makes this stuff a little bit more accessible to the wider public. And this collaboration really ties in with that integration of skills set up, right? So you've got the skills, you've got the people, your data and your reporting are going to the right people in the right organizations to actually create that policy shift and landscape scale change. We needed our data to be scientifically robust. And this is a bit of an issue, I think globally, but specifically in New Zealand, citizen science tends to be quite qualitative and largely observational. We wanted it to be quantitative, aligned with scientific best practice, and undergo strict quality assurance. So that's everything from keeping track of sensor calibration records all the way to peer reviewing every report that gets out. And the last part of this that I think is a real key to the success that we've had recently is aligning our projects with national standards and policies. So we would look at regional and national environmental policies for specific areas or water bodies, and then design programs to meet some of those objectives or to answer some of those questions. And by doing this, you effectively finish the report and you hand it off to a policymaker or local government, and they instantly know what to do with this. It highlights, this is the legislative objective, this is how we've answered this or helped inform this, these are the next steps within your regulatory framework. It's now up to you to implement. And we've had great success with this model. We also wanted the organization to be outcomes driven, and we're not very great on social media, but we are a lot better with some of the more formal outputs. So we do everything from long-term trend analysis, which you can see on the left. This was just a nutrient and trophic shift analysis that we did for one of the sites. We create educational posters. So this is one on kakahi, which is our native freshwater mussel. We also put out technical reports, and these are our 3 most recent ones. If you want to read any of these, please hop onto our website, and they're all up there under the report section. And yeah, I think hopefully you can follow this step by step, and you can get a sense of how you may want to bring your GUE community out of a single site focus into either a regional or even a national scale thing. And it's amazing what a group of passionate divers can actually achieve if you put your head to it. And you know, it really highlighted the value of citizen science, I think, for me and everyone who's been involved. And I have the GUE community to thank and all the other volunteers along the way who have made this possible, and some of them online today. So thank you guys. This one's for you.
That's great, Evie. Thanks very much. That's a really nice overview, helping us really get a good grasp of the variety of aspects you're confronting there. And you've really, to keep people motivated, diving in some of those conditions has been pretty impressive. It must be a really motivated team, yeah?
Yeah, the Guinness works on both sides of the pond.
Okay, got it. It's the universal elixir, right? It's a catalyst for great things around the world. Thanks very much, Evie. We really appreciate you joining us and all the great work you're doing through GUE and with Project Baseline and for the environment, broadly speaking.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Great to see you. All right. As we leave Evie, we're going to now to bring Annika in. We are going to hear from GUE's first next-gen scholar. At the close of her rather tumultuous year in the middle of COVID, I'd like to bring in Annika and say hello.
On our fourth day of T1 out at the beautiful Hornites Island. A whole lot of craze surveys that we're doing along the coast at Waiheke.
Months I've been here in French Polynesia.
This month we are in Niue. Just arrived at our first dive site. We are doing 9th fathom. The water is 21 degrees and it's looking really nice and blue. We've got our divers going into the water now and we'll get into it. Should we get?
I'm about to do my first Chimex dive.
We're all on 32%.
That was great. Hello, Hanukkah. How are you? So nice to see you.
I'm good. How are you?
That was fantastic. That was an amazing video. Nicely done.
Thank you. It was a really, I wanted to showcase everything that's been going on in the last couple of years, and it was a really cool way of bringing it all together for the end of my scholarship, which was nice.
You did beautifully. And it's amazing, actually, how you managed to bring all of your enthusiasm and passion and smiles to a video all at one time. It's been really lovely for us. You started your scholarship at a challenging time. So name the scholar and then a pandemic starts. I mean, that's not everything that happens to everyone, but you navigated it beautifully, and we were always going to have you in our hearts as our first and only. So how did things go for you? What are you up to now? Where is your next adventure?
Oh, I'm actually, I'm very lucky. I'm about to go to the Galapagos in a week, which is very exciting. I'm actually currently down in the South Island in New Zealand doing some sailing at a regatta. So I'm outside in about 10 degrees in a t-shirt. But yeah, heading up to the Galapagos and then doing some work with the Charles Darwin Research Station and then heading to Cocos Islands before coming home for Christmas. So there's a lot on, but it is really exciting, and this whole scholarship just jump-started everything, and it's been a very exciting whirlwind adventure, which I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes in the future.
That's amazing. Well, we knew it when we picked you that you were off to amazing things, and we're just really happy to be a part of that. We're excited to work with you going into the future as well. So we're not going to let you get away that easily. You know, once you're part of our family, no matter what, you have to stay with us. So we'll always love and respect the great things you're doing. And we're going to force you to come back and touch base with us from time to time. So you have to promise that.
I promise that,
Yes.
and that sounds like a good deal. Yeah.
Okay, indeed. And we won't make you always do it in 10 degrees in a t-shirt, but we appreciate your efforts as well. And I just wanted, before we close out and let you go, I just wanted to bring in Jennifer, who is our next gen scholar. Wonderful, lovely young lady that I just had the pleasure of meeting recently. And I thought this would be a wonderful opportunity. Hi, how are you doing, Jennifer?
Hello, I'm good.
Hi,
Jennifer, meet Annika. Annika, meet Jennifer. Great, excellent. She's showing a similar kind of enthusiasm that you showed, Annika. So we're really excited for the things that she's going to accomplish. I thought this would be, a lovely way to kind of pass the torch, as it were. Annika, what do you think that Jennifer has ahead of her? Any fun days ahead?
Heaps. I reckon there is so many awesome people that you'll get to meet, learn from them, and it's an amazing community, just like you've seen over the last hour. So I can't wait to see what you get up to. I'm looking forward to following your adventures ahead, and have the best time.
Thank you so much. I really can't believe I'm here, and I've been following your journey as well, and I think I have big boots to fill, but yeah, it's amazing, and I can't wait to get started, and hopefully I can dive with you guys sometime soon.
We're going to have to do that. We're going to have to bring the two next-gen scholars together in some kind of wonderful diving environment. I think that we're going to start a little club, so I think that's going to be quite a lot of fun. We're going to bring Jennifer back in our second broadcast so we can find out a lot more about her and some of her future plans. Jennifer, thanks for swinging in and saying hello to Annika. It felt appropriate to do this professional handoff and pass the torch, as it were. Annika, we're going to keep touching base with you, so you're not allowed to go anywhere. I know you're still a regular contributor, GUE TV, and we're going to continue to force you to come and visit us often. So best of luck to everything that you're doing. It's amazing. You're an amazing person, Jennifer. I'm sure that you're going to work hard to fill those big shoes, and we're really excited to be working with you. So big hug to both of you. Take care. Jennifer, I'll see you in the second broadcast. Annika, go get warm and take care of yourself, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Take care. All right. What a great video. And we're really so proud and excited to be able to sponsor these young people on their beginning journeys. It's really a joy to watch them flourish and see the great things that they're doing. We really hope to expand that program. So thanks to all of you who are GUE members joining us and supporting the organization. We're looking forward, and we're excited about building Jennifer in her future and her training. We'd really love to expand that program as well. So we do have great hope for it and many of the other nonprofit efforts that the organization has undertook. So without further ado, I think it'd be great if we could bring in Dorada as we close out this last session. Let her say hello, see if we have any questions to answer, any stump the speaker activities.
One last video to play, Jared.
Oh, thank you very much, Nico. All right, see, I always need support and help. Thanks, Nico. Let's play that last video and then bring in Dorada.
Your membership supports advanced diver education that empowers vibrant communities and makes exploration and conservation initiatives around the world possible. Your annual contribution also allows us to develop new educational programs that make for safer diving and allow us to push the envelope of aquatic exploration. Plus, a portion of your membership goes towards supporting GUE's conservation initiatives. The last 24 years would not have been possible without the contributions of our members. Thank you for supporting our mission these past 24 years, and we look forward to your continued support. To show our gratitude, all of our current members will receive an additional 10% off all GUE merchandise this week. GUE would be nothing without our community, Membership is the crucial funding that makes it possible for GUE to maintain its website, update educational materials, support its instructors and students, and expand conservation and exploration projects, and grow as an organization. If you become a member this week, you will receive a community shirt along with your other membership benefits. Learn all about membership benefits at the link in the description below in this video. We have 4 different levels of membership to fit every diver's wants and needs, each with its own benefits that range from access to Quest magazines, store discounts and an annual member t-shirt, to free course registrations, software and a complimentary GUE TV subscription. There's never been a better time to become a GUE member, so come and join our community and welcome to our dive family.
That's great. Nice video. Hello, Dorada. Hi there. We got to see some great activity from Monica, and nice to close out with the membership, which is such a pivotal part of what's going on in the organization, a big chunk of what lets us do what we do. And seeing Monica and now Jennifer take over, and all the great communities out there doing such fantastic work, it's really a special thing. Welcome from Egypt. You're still at? Hello.
Yes. No, I think I'm now unmuted.
You are. I was talking, and so I was trying to drag it out a little till you noticed. So welcome from Hurghada now on GUE's created. No, not Hurghada. Where are you?
No, we are in Elguna, so it's a little bit north up from Hurghada. We are just in between trip, so we are leaving again in. I think we will having everybody here. Like today, a few people are driving, and tomorrow we will have everybody. In the evening we have, we have some, community activities. No diving though. We are kind of relaxing before we are heading off for a week. But we will have some sailing today planned. Wind is on our side, so
no diving
we get off
today,
in 2
but
hours
plenty
and
of
then come back.
Yep. No diving today, but plenty of diving. So 3 weeks, I think, in total in general, right? So the first week down, how did it go? 2 weeks. Okay. How did the first week go?
The first week was super windy. So we needed to adjust a little bit the route to make the diving possible, but we did really great job. We have really nice footage. So some nice wrecks diving. We dive same wrecks a few times just to scout a little bit and find good places. So we have been. I know the engine room from Johnny's did very well now. I spent like 5 hours inside.
All right, good. You've done your own photogrammetry, mental photogrammetry, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Well, that's a great trip. I'm sorry I'm missing it this year, and I'm sure you've got a great group of people together. Are you bringing everybody for our second broadcast?
Yes.
It'd be great if we can get them together and have them say hello.
Yes.
Excellent.
That's the plan.
Well, we shall see. We got any questions queued up? That's Carl, you got me because I still haven't seen it. I guess I need to go hunt this out. I'm kind of curious the nature of the question in terms of it. Maybe you can tell us, is this just highlighting some of the bad things that Sea Shepherd is doing? Because, I know their intention is good, and I know there is some controversy surrounding them. So we haven't really taken a real position on Sea Shepherds. Dorada, do you know the basis of the question? It's a good one, because I said stump the speaker, and right away they stumped the speaker. So I'm proud of you, Carl. I don't have a good one for you still to this day. So it's called Seaspiracy, Sea Piracy. And I've seen a bit of that controversy generally. I just haven't seen the documentary, so I know they're quite aggressive in some of the tactics, and there's a fair bit of debate over whether they get too far or not. So I apologize, Carl. We still don't really have a position on it. I respect that many of the people I've met really do wish to do good things, and they have really good intentions. I am sure that sometimes they may go too far, as many of us do. I wouldn't call that an official position, but it is a recognition of some of the nuance that exists. Any other questions? Receiving comments? Yes, I have a feeling that maybe you might know some of the people. There is a bit of discussion about the rebreather curriculum and potentially some adjustments, but it really is discussion at this point. We are recognizing that more and more people who are doing any kind of deeper diving needing to get into a rebreather. At the moment, I would say we have a pretty clear pathway for people, and we have, I don't feel, made it too inaccessible because it really still is primarily a technical tool for deep diving. And so I think our entry point now at Tech One, from my perspective, is already a pretty good adjustment that allows people to come into that program with a solid base of skills and move pretty efficiently. But there have been some questions about whether there was anything more that we might do, particularly with respect to people who are already quite active and diving and would like to work at the GUE. Any thoughts on that one, Dorado?
Yeah, no, nothing to add apart from that what you said. I mean, I know that there is some, brainstorming coming up, but we will need to see what we actually come up with. But I agree with that, especially now. It's, diving open circuit helium is not sustainable.
I don't really know of any projects. I don't know of any deep projects. Yeah, I don't know of any deep projects that are really trying to do anything by not using one of our rebooted platforms. So I think that's quite common. They were pretty easy on us,
and I think
not
what people need to.
Please.
Yeah, what I think is that it's not people who are really deciding to make deeper dives, let's say below 50 meters and so on. They really need to reconsider what they do because investing in a rebreather and rebreather training is as well quite a lot of money. And if you are not really planning to do those dives on a regular basis, it's a little bit vicious circle because then if you do not do them, you will not have experience enough to do them. So for me, it's a commitment. Either you do that or not. And then I think if you're planning really to dive anything that is deeper than 50 meters, investing in a rebreather is the way to go, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems so. We've tried to make that a pretty streamlined process and really not circumvent people's desires too much, but really give them some base because obviously with a rebreather failure, you're still on open circuit. So having a good base foundation of open circuit skills augmented by a growing proficiency with rebreathers, I think is pretty critical. I'm generally happy with where we're at, but I do see some opportunities. Go ahead, Dorada.
Yeah, the only thing that I see that rebreathers make people a little bit lazy and they kind of forget all of the open circuit procedures and then suddenly you wake up, oh, I need to switch gases. Oh, wow, how was it? So even if an open circuit is a little bit on a, economically non-efficient way, you still need to have those skills because if something goes wrong, you need to be able how to, get you out of there. So it's a little bit of a commitment, but well, it's worth the commitment. If you looked at Graham Rex, definitely we need to commit.
All right, so the next question is when are we all headed over there for some Guinness and wreck diving? Probably put it on the calendar.
Yeah. I mean, it's next year or 2024.
Okay, I like it. It's a commitment. You heard it live here, and we'll have to watch the Seas Piracy show as well. I have to add that to the list.
Watch list, yes.
All right, anything for you, Dorada, before I close out?
Yeah, we read something.
Just a sort of like reiteration. I agree with you, Lucas. I think that's great to see, and I'm glad everybody's tuning in and gathering from it what we intend. Project Diver curriculum. Absolutely. So the 4-module program is in really engaging people in a way that we're experimenting a bit. So in the first module in Dubai was a little bit more presentation format to bring in a lot of knowledge and skills, knowledge and utilization of that knowledge for skill-based diving. And we brought in some really amazing speakers. We had this almost a whole day with Simon Mitchell, just peppering him with the highly detailed questions. The one that we're doing in Florida in October is building upon that platform because we have all the lectures recorded. So we're providing access to the participants to get that foundational knowledge. And now we're starting to migrate a little bit more into smaller groups, including both the lecture format and a little bit more hands-on work. So there's some stuff with, for example, NEMO survey tools, a little bit more time to work on one-on-one rescue and collaborative kinds of operations, some work on how to utilize the results from your projects. We have Sam and Julian coming from Mexico, the Sinvac group there, just doing some truly amazing things. So their GIS integrated systems are really taking project documentation and presentation to a whole nother level. So they're a big part of the project. A number of great speakers and a good measure of hands-on activity. And for those that don't know, that core module is a required component. It's then followed by an apprentice project. Graham and Kirill are both running sort of beta versions of that apprentice project. Graham's just done one in the tech environment. Kirill is working on the cave environment. So we hope to have that program fully available by next year. We're already looking to put some dates on the calendar so that people can partake both in the core module activity and then sign up for the apprentice programs. At a high level, these are really specifically designed to support communities in developing the skill set and bringing together individuals with unique skill sets towards the commission of unique and challenging deliverables. So we're really just trying to enable the things that you saw today and are seeing in our community and trying to really give people the tools to build those out in greater detail. So we're very excited about the project. It's been a bit of project Diver curriculum. It's been a dream of mine for quite a few years. So I'm excited to see it develop. Dorado, do you want to take that one?
Which one? Yeah, I was thinking about it where it is, but being from Europe, I think it's Europe, and I think it's UK. Looking at how much activities they are, and I would say Germany and Italy. I would say this three, and Europe generally speaking, because I'm European.
Are you? It's a bit difficult. You don't spend a lot of time there, but you're European, right?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look that up, honestly. There's a pretty good... I would say, if we can count Europe as a country, then I would say Europe. But that cheats a little bit. There are pockets all over the place, so we really have to look. And it depends a little bit. Like Italy is tremendously active, but people are coming there from all over the world. So we'd have to decide where.
I mean, all over. Yeah.
Absolutely following the train construction. Really terrible to see. Happy to support anything that really speaks against something that's really can be that devastating to the environment. I'm sad to say I think it's very likely to happen, but I think trying to educate the community there, I can understand they're trying to develop the country and they really want to provide access to many more people. I'm just always worried when I see that kind of stuff, especially if it's not exceptionally well thought out. So I'm really nervous about it, and I'm following it quite closely. Thank you, Paul. You got some good ones. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, we have been part of signing the petition to stop it as well. I think Amanda was on top of it, and Mike Menduno, and I think we did have it covered as well in depth. So yes, we are following that.
Yes, definitely.
Let's see.
Definitely more liveaboards. Yes. We have one coming up. We have Antarctica coming up very soon, Dorado. I'm hoping that this one appears like it's going to go off no matter what. So we've already been canceled twice on our Antarctica trip, and we're looking forward to that one early next year. There's always the running trips that Dorado is doing right now that are already pre-scheduled, and then we're looking at several more locations. Really looking at Truck Lagoon, the Galapagos area as well for over the next 2-3 years. We're planning to schedule several of those kind of activities.
Saudi Arabia.
Hopefully you've advanced that a bit. We're definitely interested. Saudi would be the sort of 50 years ago Red Sea that we see in Egypt. So very excited to see something like that develop. Short answer, yes. I think we've got several on the planning stages and a few already commissioned. Dorado, do you have a trip scheduled next year yet? You'll do it around the same time.
Yeah, it will be probably end of August, September. I mean, it will be first half of September or last weeks of August.
That's always a great trip because there's really a diversity of people from recreational all the way through technical. Lots of fun, great group of people, and such amazing diving going on there. But we'll get you news this year. I'm working on a number of liveaboard trips already. Go ahead. Right.
Yeah, I mean, what I can say is kind of, I'm really happy how it developed, because in the beginning we had like 8 people. Now we have almost 1.5, I mean, almost 2 full boats over 2 weeks, which is really super nice. And everybody who is coming is really enjoying the work, because it's not really a lot of fun diving. And everybody is contributing and modeling and posing and coming up with great ideas and learning. I did have a Rec 1 diver with me with 4 dives, and then he got so much experience in it and doing negative entries from Zodiac, diving Abu Dhabi, and really great to see. So it doesn't really matter how experienced you are. It's always a great time, you know, to come with and see, you know, the people coming and join the community. And I agree with Michael, who just wrote somewhere that we should have the GUE conference in Europe.
I'm happy
I
to
heard
do
it a few
and,
times. I heard
yeah,
it a few times already.
I'm happy to do it, and I love spending a lot of time in Europe. It just ended up being so costly for the organization that it was really difficult. So the only reason we're doing it regularly is because it's very affordable for a nonprofit organization to run it reliably, and the costs tended to skyrocket when we brought the show on the road. But I certainly am not resistant. I love spending time in Europe, and I'd be happy to.
And I have ideas, so let's talk.
Okay, I like your ideas. The idea machine. So you heard it here first. GUE's next conference, not the next one because in October is in Florida, but we'll start looking at good opportunities in Europe, and maybe we can find a way to bring a really good group together. I would love to see that. It would be great. All right, folks, I think we should probably sign off. Don't forget our next stream later on today. Do you know the UTC time offhand, Dorada? 4 UTC time, midnight Singapore time. So I'm not sure if I'll be quite as lively, but I'm going to do my best. Here, just in case you're joined late, I'm here broadcasting from the ADEX show in Singapore. The internet held out, so thanks very much to the great infrastructure here. Dorada's, yours wasn't too bad either, so it was really good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to everyone for joining. We've got a whole new cast coming on at the 4 o'clock UTC time broadcast. So we have a whole new group of people coming on, variety of interesting topics. We'll get to meet and talk with our new Next Gen Scholar that we've just announced. Jennifer will be joining us again as well. So please try to sign on. If you can't, you can always watch on Facebook and YouTube. You can watch the recording. If you missed part of this and you want to go back and check it out, there was some great stuff. Some great recs that Graham covered, Evie with some great conservation work, great communities around the world doing some fantastic stuff. We're really grateful for all of you. You really make the organization. Without you, we'd certainly be nothing. And I hope that we've been able to highlight some of the uniqueness of the organization with respect to all the projects going on, community-led. They're bringing out some tremendous stuff. Belen helping to show some very nice, scientifically credible research going on thanks to our communities around the world. So we're happy to make that and excited to make that contribution. Any sign off for you, Dorada?
I mean, I'm always super happy to see young generation coming in. So Annika and Jen, I hope that we will be, I hope to work with Jen a little bit more and convince her to become a GUE instructor in the process, because I know that she was interested in it. And for me, this is the inspiration that we can bring on new people and doing really incredible stuff for the environment and showing up what scuba diving is for the people who are not really even aware that this exists, and, you know, protecting the environment, showing what we can actually do, and community, because, you know, I'm doing the trips here, for instance, just to bring people together so they can interact, they can work, they can share ideas, they can inspire themselves, because if you're there out alone, it's very hard. So join any community that you have. They will be always very welcoming. And I think this is one of the biggest benefits that we have those communities all over the place and trying to interact and do crazy stuff that we should not, or we would not be able to do alone.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. And, you know, it's been great here being back into the Singapore international community. And we really just, you meet some of the greatest people through these different activities traveling around the world in the various communities. So I echo that comment 100%. Thanks to all of you. We wouldn't exist without you. We love you all. Thanks for coming. We're so happy to have you here. Next time I'll probably be in my hotel room, which will be a lot more boring than the setting that we have here. Last goodbye to you all. Enjoy wherever you're coming from. We hope to see you at 4 o'clock UTC time. Enjoy your day, night, take a nap. We'll see you